talking about. BBC Radio 1 Stories. Discover more.
You've got millions of fans following your every move. There's hundreds of thousands of pounds in your bank account. Sponsors are queuing up to work with you. You get mobbed at live events, and you're not even out of your early 20s. But you're not playing football. You're not playing a lead role in a blockbuster film.
Sorry, I love you. Don't hang me.
You're not even playing the main stage at a massive music festival.
Glastonbury.
You're playing video games. Meet the youngest, newest and quickest growing global celebrities, the Rockstar Gamers.
So yeah, welcome to my absolutely chaotic, absolutely crazy room. I can see like 15 controllers just from here.
We went to Insomnia and the queue was insane. It was like 4 hours long just to meet, I think 7 or 8 of us sat at a table, and all we were doing was just signing autographs.
We all deserved it!
I rapidly realised when the first paycheck came in, there's no way I'm going to find another job that pays this well.
Programming, branded entertainment, sponsorship, television shows, red carpet events, a lot of money. More than you and I can count.
So how many of the cars outside are yours?
Just one.
Just one.
Just one.
Let me guess, it's the Porsche.
It's, yes.
Dota 2, the winning team walked away with $5 million. Maybe it's time that people stop considering it niche. I don't think it's niche anymore. I think it's a movement.
I'm Julia Hardy, I'm a gaming journalist, and over the next 60 minutes, I'm going to introduce you to the Rockstar Gamers. Young UK-based people who are making a living and leading extraordinary lives by playing video games. These are people you may not have heard of yet, but you will do soon, because the world of entertainment is changing. These guys are at the cutting edge of that change. And the numbers they're getting are pretty ridiculous.
A PewDiePie with 27 or 8 million subscribers. This is phenomenal, right? They're bigger than TV stations, some of these guys.
Keep listening to hear about how they work.
Most of the time I'm just editing. Editing videos, not being able to actually just enjoy myself and play FIFA.
The money they make.
Going into like a junior position with a fresh degree would have only gotten me so much, and I'm probably making 3 or 4 times that amount.
And how you could follow in their footsteps.
Just be true to yourself, because you've got to maintain it forever. You can be, living that dream of playing computer games for a living. I mean, we're professional gamers. That's the crazy thing. We are terrible at games, and yet we are professionals.
You're listening to BBC Radio 1 Stories. This is Rockstar Gamers with me, Julia Hardy. Get involved with the programme and share your thoughts on Twitter using the hashtag RockstarGamers.
BBC Radio 1 Stories. Discover more.
The biggest Rockstar Gamers are YouTubers. They film themselves playing games, then post on YouTube edited versions of the game footage and the reactions whilst they play. These videos can be silly, funny, informative or nerdy, and pretty much everything in between. And people watch them in their millions.
Welcome everyone to a brand new live commentary. Hopefully you having a fantastic day.
Man, I don't think you're ready though. I don't think you're ready though. I don't think you're ready though.
That can't be good. That can't be good. Not looking back. Don't look back. Oh, God.
Some YouTubers focus on playing particular games. For example, Ali A mainly plays Call of Duty.
They're catching our flag. Come on.
KSI mainly plays FIFA.
He scored for Real Madrid.
Or they might play a whole variety of games just for laughs, like PewDiePie.
How does he do it? Stop it, Cal. Calm down.
Or review games like TotalBiscuit.
Oh, that's why. Okay, I guess that wasn't a bug then.
Whatever they play and whatever they post, they all depend on YouTube to access their audience. So, who better to explain how it works than YouTube's global head of gaming, Rodrigo Velloso.
It's an activity that's fairly easy to produce and record, right? So, you capture your video gameplay and you capture an image of yourself doing that, and then you spend several hours editing that content. There is a huge variety of creators and of content types. For example, a Stampy Longhead is clearly addressing children. His character is a yellow cat called Mr. Stampy Cat in the Minecraft world. And he speaks very soothingly. He avoids foul language.
Okay, here we go. I can hear the engine starting. There's the thrusters and we've taken off. We have launched.
Mr. Stampy Cat is finally going for a trip to the moon.
Whereas someone like PewDiePie, he's a little bit more mature.
No, I'm fine. I am not fine. I'm never fine.
He's talking to young people like himself. Let's Play videos on horror video games. And him being scared and frightened through the games was hilarious.
I'll do anything.
He's built his channel, but he's just passed 29 million subscribers. It's incredible.
One of the earliest YouTubers, or creators as YouTube calls them, is Ali A. He's got 4.4 million subscribers, lives at home with his parents and posts videos from his bedroom. I went to visit him and asked him how he got started.
It all started a long time ago. Actually, 2009, January 2009 was when I uploaded my very first video. But I actually had my account since 2006. And a friend told me to make a YouTube account simply because it was this new popular site, it was growing, a great place to store video content, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll make an account, but wasn't really too interested. And then come 2009, I needed a place to host some videos of me playing games so I could share them with people, and I was like, oh, I've got a YouTube account, I'll just upload it there. So that was the main sort of go-to place for me to store all of my videos to start off with, and it was literally just a place to easily share with my friends. It was a very geeky thing, like sharing a video of me playing video games, but it all started off as a very sort of sincere thing, and people started following me, and then it's just developed into something now where lots of people come to my YouTube channel just to watch my video content. I don't think anybody back in the day ever thought that it would be possible to turn it into a full-time job, and it all started off just out of a hobby and a passion for playing video games and sharing their best moments, so it's crazy what it's developed into, really.
Do you actually talk to, you know you were saying before about the guy who first introduced you to YouTube, is he a bit jealous now? Because like you've done really well, and like, is he still doing YouTube?
I actually saw him the other week, and we always joke about it. He's always like, oh, I should get 50% of everything you're making now. And I'm like, that's not going to happen.
That's a lot of percentage-wise, really.
I think he only ever uploaded a few videos himself. He was a drama student, so he did a few sort of like funny skit videos and then sort of didn't really pursue it, whereas I started and then just kept the ball rolling, and it was sort of like a big momentum thing. YouTube's very momentum based, where if you start to build up a following, you need to keep that going with constant content. So when I first started out, I was doing a video maybe once every other week or something, and then now it's at a point where I'm doing 3 videos every day across my main channel and my second channel. So if you can keep the momentum rolling, then people are constantly interested, they're constantly seeing what new videos you're making, whereas if you just stop for a week, then people will forget you almost and move on to somebody else that quickly. So you've got to really be on top of your game.
Another Rockstar gamer is KSI. He lives in a shared house with other YouTubers in a kind of video game content factory. Here's how he got started.
Well, I just saw a few people doing it, you know, just playing games. And, well, you know, back then, doing skills like on FIFA was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty sick.
Great header, great goal!
No, I did skills on FIFA, and there was a YouTuber called Yapsef who would upload it all the time, and I was like, oh, this is sick, I want to do this. So I looked into it, I figured out how he managed to upload the content from his Xbox.
Yeah.
And then I started to upload a lot more FIFA. I saw it was kind of popping off because people were watching me for some reason. People were watching my skills. To be honest, I was a nuisance. I would like upload. I would literally tell everyone that I'm uploading this skill montage. You've got to see it. It's sick. And you know, I added music to it. And I was like, oh, I'm such a badass. Oh. From then on, I kind of tried to bring my personality more into my videos. You want to come play me? Huh? I think my biggest video was best football player in the world. This one's about Heskey. Back then he was a lovable character, and I decided to be quite sarcastic in my tone, and I just talked about him in my video. And yeah, I tried to make it a funny sketch. And yeah, it just really like blew up. People like loved it. They were like, this is the funniest thing. So I saw that comedy could be a thing I could go into. I didn't really think I was that funny, but I was like, okay.
People are laughing.
People are laughing. Let's go with this. Want to get out of danger? Well, Heskey has the skills to pay the bills. And yeah, from then on, I just started to do more skits. I started to do more stuff with FIFA and all that. And now I'm here, making videos still. In from Ronaldo and to Lionel Messi's. That's how we're going down.
What do your family think about it? Because obviously, you know, you've done videos as well, like some of your family say they've been quite, you know, heavily involved from the start. But what... Were they kind of a bit skeptical when you first started?
No, they hated it. They thought I was wasting my time. Yeah. My parents were quite, you know, traditional, so they're like, oh, you have to go to school, you have to be a doctor, you know. And it's pretty much life. And I was just like, you know, that's just not me. I like entertaining. I like, you know, making people laugh. I like making a fool of myself, you know, quite a lot of the times. At the beginning, they were just, no, there's no way. Games bad, like you'll never get anything, you'll never make money from games is the quote. Pretty much I swear every parent has said you'll never make money from games. Yeah, everyone's kind of like, oh crap. Wow, this is a thing you could, wow. Oh, I should never have told my children to stop playing games and all that. So what are you waiting for? Get him there!
As I said before, the numbers of views these guys are getting on their channels is ridiculous. PewDiePie's channel is the biggest on YouTube, with almost 30 million subscribers. That's equivalent to the entire population of Malaysia. As a result of this success, new companies called networks have sprung up to manage, assist and talent search YouTubers. The biggest network is Maker, and their president is Rene Reckman. He thinks that the expansion of YouTubers is a result of the different ways that millennials, that's loosely 14 to 34-year-olds, consume their media.
You know, the millennials right now are influencing $1 trillion in spend. This is a lot of money. And they're growing. And the next generation after them, you know, the ones under 14, they're growing older and they definitely don't have any attachment to linear TV or anything like that. So I think what we will see is we'll have all these different screens and everything will be kind of the Netflix of this world and the YouTubes of this world, and people will consume content as they want, whenever they want, whatever device they want, in their niche. There's unlimited amount of viewership out there because YouTube is global, because social media is global, right? So if you have something on your heart and you're able to produce some quality, you can reach global audiences.
Even the YouTubers themselves are staggered by how big they've become. I went down to Yogs Towers in Bristol, home of gaming collective The Yogscast. And they told me just how much time people spend watching their videos on YouTube.
I'm Mark Turpin of The Yogscast. I'm the CEO. I go by the name Terps online.
Hello, I'm Dave Boddington. I'm the production and development manager for The Yogscast.
We are in Yog Towers in Bristol, home of The Yogscast.
I'm here outside of Yog Labs. We're going to take a look at something, but I don't have a key to get in.
My favourite stat is every day around about, I think it's 72, 73 years of viewer minutes are spent watching Yogscast content. So if you know, I always like to, you know, preface that by, you know, these aren't the people who should be spending their time finding cures for cancer or fixing the economy. You know, these are people who are just enjoying and spending time, you know, relaxing. But it's a vast number of man hours spent watching our stuff, which is great. The Yogscast, we started out playing a game called World of Warcraft, and in that we were part of a guild from the website Something Awful, and they're referred to as goons, and in the games they play they often call themselves the Goon Squad. We broke away from that when all this new blood came in, and we were Ye Olde Goon Squad, or Yogs, and we started doing podcasts on iTunes, and they were called Yogscasts rather than podcasts. And the Yogscast kind of stuck from there.
How is this in Minecraft? You should see this on the outside.
The Yogscast is a collection of over 20 channels. I forget how many. There's always new 20-something channels. We like to think of it as a family of channels who are geared around playing fun multiplayer online games together. It's really just friends hanging out, having fun, and people like to enjoy vicariously through our having fun.
I mean, because obviously Yogscast is a little bit different to a lot of other YouTube channels in that it's quite a big business here. You know, you've got big offices, big studios. You know, you're not running this out of a bedroom. At what point did it kind of change from, you know, like turning into a proper business?
Yeah, so I mean, the channel first started out in 2008, and it wasn't until 2010, around Christmas, when Simon and Lewis, the two co-founders, showed up on the front page of YouTube from having a successful video. And it got to the point at the end of 2011 where they were starting to burn out from living and working in the same place, just literally living YouTube. So at the start of 2012, we decided to move to Bristol to start an office, and we've kind of kept growing since. It started out with 7 of us back in the day. Now we're near enough 30 people here across 2 different floors. We've got editors, animators, artists, admin, everything really.
We put out an enormous amount of content, you know, so many hours every single day.
Yeah, I mean, was it 8 hours, 10 hours? More than that, probably.
Indeed, yeah, it's massive. And yeah, scheduling every step of that process is really, really hard. You know, we've got so many people involved. You know, we've got animators in-house who do entire cartoons for us. You know, absolutely amazing stuff. In some ways, it is like a traditional broadcast environment. You know, there's so many bits and things going on, but the fundamental difference is, you know, we are all just mates doing it for fun.
That fever and intimacy that people feel from watching us every day and spending those hours enjoying our content week in, week out, they do feel like they know us, and for all intents and purposes they do. They do, yeah. You know, again, we're not actors, you know, we're not that skilled, you know, so we literally are just us having fun doing what we do. We have company values, and we equally have a golden rule, which is, you know, play fun and be fun. So we always try and make content that's geared around our audience.
Thanks to the facilities at their Yogs Towers base, the Yogscast can turn small in-jokes into fully fledged pieces of content. When digging a hole during a Minecraft quest, Simon said the now immortal words, "Diggy diggy hole," and the end result was this song. It's an original composition and was sung by the whole Yogscast team, and now has a fully animated music video. It's now got over 6 million hits on YouTube.
Brothers of the mind.
That was Diggy Diggy Hole by the Yogscast, a song about digging a hole in Minecraft. Part of the reason why these Rockstar gamers are emerging is because gaming itself is huge. But that's something you wouldn't necessarily know from the mainstream media. TotalBiscuit, YouTuber and gaming industry expert, explains.
Oh, look who it is. What, is the meeting of the Conduit Club finally over?
I was just trying to do things that I was comfortable doing. I don't think I'm particularly funny. I'm almost convinced of that, in fact. But I think I can present an argument fairly well, and I'm reasonably good at speaking and hopefully engaging. So I decided to focus more on discussing current affairs within the industry, since, you know, it is now a massive industry and there's so much going on. And also trying to provide a service to people that were looking at brand new titles, but didn't at the time necessarily have a good way to assess them. Gaming content has actually become some of the most popular and most watched content on YouTube right now. The majority of viewer hours for YouTube are actually for gaming content as opposed to anything else. I feel that gaming content was always popular, but there was never a place to properly experience it. Television didn't really support gaming content outside of a couple of shows that were really aimed at children. Very short shows that really weren't appropriate. And you're talking about video games that can take 20+ hours to complete. You can't cover multiple games in a show that's 20 minutes with a commercial break.
I need to see what else this new power can do, and you are my go-to guy when it comes to finding the core relays.
So I think that YouTube provided the necessary platform to create the content that people had been desiring for so long, and since larger companies weren't producing that content, other people just took to producing it themselves. And since gameplay is very easy to capture, and capture at high quality if you know what you're doing. You don't need a multi-camera setup, you do not need a complex lighting rig or anything along those lines. It was easy to produce en masse at a fairly reasonable standard. So I think that as a direct result of that, people found YouTube was the place to go to indulge in videos surrounding their hobby. And since this hobby is now so massive and so widespread and mainstream, there's always going to be a large interest in watching content like that.
Because gaming is so huge, there's plenty of room for different types of Rockstar gamers. Esports is undergoing its own explosion in popularity, and pro gamers taking part have seen their earnings increase dramatically. Gfinity, a recent esports event in London, was a good place to find out more.
Yeah, my name's Chris Puckett. I'm the Vice President and Executive Producer at Major League Gaming. Right now we're at the Copper Box Arena near Olympic Park in London, and it seems every seat for Call of Duty is full, and it's only day one. It was pretty amazing. You can hear the crowd getting excited right now. You know, I think we're still in the infancy of esports. We're just now getting into arenas. It seems that every single event, there's more and more people showing up, and every new city we visit, there's a new crowd that's learning about what we're doing. It's kind of awesome to see security escorting the players around here. I mean, they get mobbed. They're like rock stars in this scene.
Stand up, he's over there!
There's just a point where someone has to come in and kind of save them from the crowd to take them backstage. These guys are making bank. You know, they're making their money off of the live streaming, the YouTube, and of course, winning the competitions for prize money.
So esports is also known as competitive gaming.
Martin Wyatt from Gfinity.
A pro gamer is pretty much like a golfer, but instead of spending hours out on the driving range or on the golf course practicing, it's their bedroom, it's their living room. But, you know, make no mistake, these guys really are at the top of their game.
You should see this, man. Speedy gone crazy is a tagger.
It's huge. I mean, the perception of an average gamer of being, you know, frightened of the sunlight, you know, malnourished, just eating crisps, that kind of thing is a bit outdated. You know, it's becoming more and more industrialised in the fact that you can make a career out of it. For the last, I think it's 4 years, this was the 4th year, Dota 2, which is a game made by a company called Valve. They hold their own tournament, they call it the International. The prize pot itself got to $11.6 million. They had 32 million people watch it online. That's when you're getting into like elite level mainstream sport, world class fixture viewership. It's bonkers.
My name's Callum Swan. I'm 21 from Durham, England, and I'm a professional gamer for Team Epsilon. I've been playing since, you know, I was an adolescent, you know, I was a kid. I'm not sure if people remember, but like old school RTS games like Dungeon Keeper, Theme Hospital, and then slowly transitioned over to Xbox and first-person shooters, and that's really where I kind of made my mark on the scene. It was quite a slow transition, to be honest. I was introduced to various sites, like online sites which host competitions, and I started enter them more regularly, increasing my placement, you know, winning a bit of, obviously nothing compared to what it is these days, but winning a bit of cash, and slowly it's just grown and grown and steamrolled to the point where we're having events like Gfinity. As someone who plays, you know, at the highest level in any sport or any game, you want the opportunity to prove that you're the best in the world, and this is what an event like Gfinity offers. As a professional, I'm doing it like full time, so I'd expect to be playing at least a few hours, you know, but that's at the very least. It's quite good in the sense that unlike a conventional 9 to 5, the hours are incredibly flexible. You know, you can sometimes be practicing at like 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. So the schedule is incredibly unconventional, which is pretty good. Some of the top players, people like Nadeshot and other huge personalities in gaming, it's literally like they are a huge, I mean, they are a celebrity in their own right in the gaming industry. But I mean, you'd think that it's, you know, David Beckham or even the Queen walking past, you know, they're absolutely mobbed, and rightly so, because it's kind of strange for me thinking about it, but they are sort of this generation of youth. They're their celebrities, you know, they're the personalities that they look up to. I was in education until a few years ago, and that wasn't my main reason, but I kind of postponed university and unintentionally followed gaming down this path. And I thought, oh, hold on a minute, this is something I can actually make a living off, you know, something I enjoy, so I thought, why not?
UAV in waiting. We have the lead.
Think of Call of Duty Ghosts and you think of this track, Survival by Eminem. That was Survival by Eminem from Call of Duty Ghosts. My name's Julia Hardy and you're listening to Rockstar Gamers on BBC Radio 1 Stories. All about young people making a living and leading extraordinary lives playing video games. You might be listening to this thinking, I want to give this a go. Getting paid to play video games sounds like the perfect job. Keep listening because before the end of this programme, all the YouTubers who contributed to this documentary will pass on their tips on how you could emulate their success.
Get a cat. Cats are
animals
good
are
on
good.
the internet.
They're more important than cameras or being human.
But first, to get a realistic idea about what day-to-day life is actually like for a Rockstar gamer, let's go back to Ali A.
My typical day, time-wise, is very, very different to a normal job in terms of my following is worldwide and actually specifically from the US, which is anywhere between a sort of 5 to 8 hour time difference for what I'm in, because of course I live in the UK. So I'm often up to the early hours of the morning, like 3 a.m. would probably be an average time to go to bed at, and then waking up at sort of midday. So my first video will go up around 7 p.m. on my second channel. Second video will tend to go up on my second channel again around 9 p.m. and then my final video to hit the American viewers will go up at around 10 p.m. on my main channel.
That's a lot. 3 videos. How do you do it? How do you work it so that you're not just completely tied to a computer the entire time?
Well, I pretty much am tied to a computer.
No, okay, well there you go then.
So my relaxing time, is pretty much in the mornings, and it's frustrating in a way because my busiest times are the times when the general person is relaxing. So when the general person, say, coming home from work, or coming home from school, they've got their extra work out of the way, I'd say sort of 7 p.m. maybe to 9 p.m. UK time. That's when people are free time, that's when people are consuming my content, but then that's when I'm the busiest, that's when I'm making my content and pushing it out and, sharing it with people. So trying to find time to relax with my friends often means sacrificing the busiest time of my day, and if it takes anywhere between an hour to 2 hours to make a video and you're making 3 videos, that's anywhere from like 6 hours onwards a day of making those 3 videos. So I'm just lucky that I really enjoy it, and so I'm happy to sit there and work hard. But it's pretty crazy. If somebody told me last year I'd be making 3 videos a day, I wouldn't believe them, because it is a lot of hard work and a lot of time and dedication. But since I do enjoy it so much, it's easy to do. The hardest thing is when I go away for a week. I then got to prepare a week's worth of 3 videos a day. So that's 21 videos I've got to prepare. So it gets pretty intense.
Stop immediately!
When I was at school, there was always the stigma of playing video games and putting a lot of time into video games was bad. Working on schoolwork was good.
I've got a trigonometry exam tomorrow. My aunt needs me to pick up a dozen eggs.
But for me, that was almost the opposite, because if I was putting a lot of time into schoolwork and ignoring video games and my YouTube channel, my YouTube was suffering. So I almost took a gamble and was like, I'm going to put a lot more time into YouTube. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to everyone. I'd always say put school first, but I was in a position where I realized that my YouTube was really taking off, and I put more time into my YouTube. And I think the reason I put so much time into it is because I enjoy it too much. So all of this time, which everybody thinks is crazy and I should relax a little bit more, is actually I enjoy it just because I have so much fun playing the games and then making the videos and seeing the response from my fans when I put the videos out there.
How much money are these YouTubers actually making? It's hard to know for sure because money is something they're very reluctant to talk about, simply because everyone will have a slightly different deal in place and therefore different incomes. It's been reported that PewDiePie, with his 30 million subscribers, has made in the region of £3 million from advertising in this last year alone. And that's before you add on any fees from sponsorship deals, appearance fees and other income streams. Martin and Kai, who run a joint vlog called In the Little Dream, as well as their own individual channels, told me more about the financial side of being a YouTuber.
I'm Martin, also known as In the Littlewood on YouTube. I'm a member of the Yogscast and I've got a channel with just over 1 million subscribers, and I've been doing YouTube for about 2.5 years now.
Hi, I'm Kai, also known as Kai Dream. I have 3 different channels on YouTube, amassing about 150,000 subscribers, and I do anything from gaming to vlogging and even beauty and fashion videos as well. We're in our apartment in Bristol. Martin lived in Bristol actually before, and I lived in Southampton, and we actually met via YouTube. So I then decided to move here. So this is our apartment, and we have 2 cats, like most YouTubers, I think. For me, being a generally smaller YouTuber, you know, the money that I get couldn't be a full-time wage. Like, when you put it in perspective, even though I have like over 150,000 over 3 channels, I couldn't do this as a full-time job. It wouldn't sustain me. But then a company will come up to me and say, oh, hey, can you make, you know, a couple's, you know, episode web series? We'll pay you £1,000 per episode. And I'm just like, what? Like, you know, that I could do that in 3 days, but over a month I won't even earn a quarter of that on YouTube. So companies sometimes will approach you for things because they really value you and will give you these massive opportunities. But YouTube itself, I think, people don't earn as much money as possibly people think.
YouTube's head of gaming, Rodrigo Velloso.
YouTube makes its money from advertising. The majority of YouTube revenues come from advertising, so both the skippable ads that sometimes appear at the beginning of videos. We have also in-stream ads that are not skippable and that can appear at the beginning or in the middle. We have graphical overlay ads that appear kind of at the bottom of the video or on the side, and banners. And we have a partnership with the creators that are on YouTube, so they receive a part of that revenue, the majority of that revenue, in fact.
A certain amount of YouTubers can make X amount of money and survive. Others maybe have to make deals or do different stuff. And it's like every other industry, but then it tends to sort of get people's back up a little bit because, I mean, is that basically because, you know, they expect you to always have integrity and be really honest and all this sort of stuff? But it is business at the end of the day.
There are 2 sides of it. I mean, as long as people are sort of honest and open about what they're doing, you know, they're transparent about the opportunities. And I think people have to realise is that if someone's doing this full time to entertain them, they need to earn enough money. So if you think about it, to get £1,000 a month, which you would say is sort of an average-ish wage for a young person, you need to get about 1 million views on YouTube a month, and that is quite a lot. To get 1 million views, you're looking at having at least 400, 500,000 subscribers to get that. And people don't realise that. So the ones that are doing it full-time who have a lesser amount of subscribers, but say their content's really good, having these companies that will pay them a certain amount to do like a video coverage, it really does help them out. So I think even though some people see it as a negative thing, it means this person can actually make free content for people. So yeah, there's definitely 2 sides.
For us, it's literally just, we're playing the game as we always would to have fun. We're not trying to make you buy the game or anything like that. It's just, we're engaged by it, so we hope you would be as well. And yeah, you know, if somebody comes up to you and says, do exactly what you always do, but I'll give you an extra X amount of money, anyone would say yeah, because you're basically getting paid to have, you know, the best job in the world. So yeah, I think money-wise, it's very surprising, especially because of the scale of YouTube. I mean, there's probably at least 100,000 or more people making money off of YouTube on a daily basis, and to think that there's still that much money that you can make off of it, I thought the well would be sort of, you know, would be dry at this point. I think a lot of people do look at these kind of like, you know, these big broad ranges of the amounts, and then they just put it all over the tabloids and stuff. I know Felix, PewDiePie, #1 on YouTube at the minute, and just consistently people are like millions and millions a month and blah 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 blah. And as much as it may be true or it may not be true, they're just kind of posting it as fact, and that's always kind of a little bit discouraging.
For a few YouTube gamers, their lives have been transformed, both in terms of what they earn, but also the type of opportunities that come their way. KSI explains.
Well, last year I was able to go to pretty much almost every Championship League game because of Copa90. Traveled to Amsterdam, traveled to Spain, traveled to France, traveled to Germany, traveled to Italy, and then I was able to go to the final in Wembley as well. That was pretty insane. Obviously, Gamescom is something I would normally go to. You know, Gamescom in Germany, I always go there like every year because it's just fun to meet up with people in Germany and to have a fun time while playing new games and stuff.
So you're like one of the few YouTubers that actually has a manager for like kind of outside YouTube stuff as well.
Yes.
So you'd make your YouTube revenue from your adverts and whatnot, and then obviously then your manager or agent or whatever would go out and then kind of vie for other stuff. So what's some of the cool other things you got to do through your manager?
Well, I mean, England games as well in Brazil.
He's not loving you right now.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. And
so what's next, really, in terms of like
how you see your career going? Do you think you're always going to be on YouTube? Are you going to get to a point where you're like, you know what, I don't want to edit anymore, I want to be doing something else? What would be kind of like where you're going to shoot for? Where do you want to go?
I feel like I'll always be doing YouTube. Like, YouTube is where I came up, so I can't just forget about YouTube. There's no way. And YouTube is evil like this. Like, once you're in YouTube, you can't really get out because you always think about YouTube 24/7. YouTube is like a 24/7 thing. You know, obviously I want to venture into other things. So music as well is something I like doing, you know, rapping.
Of course you did the track with Sway.
Yeah, I did track with Sway, No Sleep. That did quite well. Acting as well, doing something with 5-a-side. It's like a mini football series. Yeah, I kind of like to venture into a load of other things, just, you know, now I'm able to do it. So I'm just like, yeah, why not? Yeah, YOLO. Yep, I said that.
He's got space, what a chance!
Reaching a massive audience on YouTube can bring success, financial rewards and opportunities, but it can also open up YouTubers to criticism. KSI is a controversial figure and he has been criticised for saying things in his videos that some people have found offensive. KSI was banned from games conference Eurogamer after he posted a video where he had awkwardly suggestive conversations with girls. He says he was playing it for laughs, but some people who watched it found the content sexist and offensive. So I decided to ask him about the incident. Looking back on that now, how do you feel about it? Can you understand why people will cross with you?
In a sense, obviously people were angry, but because of the way I talked to the women there. I also talk to the men the same way, but, you know, obviously the feminism type people saw as, oh no, you just you hate females, you're misogynistic, oh, I hate you. So obviously that was an issue over there, but I tried to stand my ground, and I even had one of the people I interviewed saying there was nothing wrong. Like, he asked me if I was allowed to be in the video, and you know if I was allowed to motorboat her, and she she was like, yeah, it was cool, and you know she didn't understand.
I guess like being a female in the games industry, you do get so much crap,
obviously,
right? Constantly. And I guess it's just because, you know, you're in this really privileged position where, you know, you have influence over a lot of people. And although, you know, you might be joking and it might all just be for laughs or whatever, but sadly some people will take it seriously. Do you know what I mean?
No, I understand.
And then see that maybe that's an okay way to kind of like talk to women. And it's annoying because you want to be able to like have a joke and have a laugh, but unfortunately you're in this sort of place where people are going to start copying you.
That annoys me because obviously because of the trouble I got into because of it, it's annoying to see people replicate that. But obviously,
does it bother you because of the trouble, or do you? I mean, can you kind of see why it's like an issue for people? Do you know?
Well, yeah, obviously, you know, especially for girls, you know, girls in the gaming industry is like scarce. There's like hardly any.
You shouldn't frighten us off. You should be actively encouraging more girls to play games, right?
Obviously, yeah, it's well, I mean, it's quite a shame because with what I deal with, obviously with football and FIFA, it's a quite masculine sport, so it's kind of hard to try and implement girls into that. But obviously with my videos, I try to implement, you know, like a female audience, especially with like, for instance, me doing a Q&A with my girlfriend and just doing random stuff with my girlfriend, just to try and show that, you know, I'm not just a guy who doesn't care about, you know, women and, you know, just treat them like anything. That I can be caring as well, and that, you know, a human has two sides, basically. So
of course.
Obviously, yeah, that's, you know, I try to improve that. I try to, you know, I always try to better myself. And yeah, obviously I've learned from my ways, and you hardly ever see me do anything like that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, do you find that sometimes being KSI is like, does it almost feel like a bit like a character sometimes?
Oh yeah,
outside, right?
Yeah, like, well, KSI most of the time whenever he's on camera is a character. You know, like right now I'm nice and calm. I'm not screaming or shouting, or I'm not crazy at all. I'm just, you know, a guy who just makes videos, and obviously to make it entertaining on YouTube, you have to amp it up. And obviously sometimes I can go a bit too far with that. But Ali G,
yeah,
he goes over the top like all the time, and he pushes the boundaries and annoys so many people.
But you see, here's the thing. I think with Sacha Baron Cohen, he's always very overtly playing a character. Are you a character when you're KSI? Do you see what I mean? That's where. Whereas if you're you, anything is going to be directed right back at you. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's just a blessing and a curse for me. KSI is, to me, a character, and you know, I always amp him up whenever it needs to be amped up. And you know, when I'm JJ or just normal, I just play games and have fun and just edit and upload.
I mean,
KSI wouldn't upload.
The FIFA franchise is renowned for making the quality and variety of each of its games' soundtracks a priority. FIFA songs can become fan favourites and achieve massive sales, even if they're not playlisted at major radio stations. From FIFA 14, this is Dreaming by Small Pools. You're listening to BBC Radio 1's Stories. This is Rockstar Gamers. That was Dreaming by Small Pools. Becoming famous is not necessarily something that people posting videos on YouTube expected to happen to them. They benefit from the millions of people who watch their videos, but the lengths to which some fans go to get close to their heroes can be pretty extreme. Yogscast member Martin Littlewood.
There was the one time where somebody followed me almost all the way to work, and the only reason I knew this is because before they'd even run off, they took a full-length shot of the back of me and tweeted the picture to me.
And then you're like, hang on, what?
And I looked around and the person was gone, but they took a picture of me, then walked off. Creepy. And they were literally, must have been no more than 5 foot away, but they took this shot of me and like tagged me on Twitter. It was weird.
Just a note to anyone listening, if you see a YouTuber, just go say hi to them. Like, don't do the creepy things that are scary.
Hey, what are you doing?
Do you mind?
Radio 1 DJs and YouTube stars Dan and Phil.
My Rockstar moment was receiving an envelope full of hair in the post to my parents' house.
It's like, I've got fans like the biggest of bands have.
Thankfully, it was long, straight hair. It was quite sleek, but still a bit weird.
Could have been worse.
Yeah.
I mean, rock stars in inverted commas there.
I really want a rider where I can, like, request things.
No, Phil.
Do YouTubers ever get that?
You'd be too demanding. What would you ask for?
Like, all of the green M&Ms.
Yeah, that's right, no.
Do you reckon PewDiePie can do that?
Probably.
A single swan without a beak. That's cruel.
YouTuber Ali A.
I went to Eurogamer, which is a great event that's based here in the UK, and I went to the Call of Duty booth, and at the exit I was just standing there actually talking to a friend from real life who I've known for years and years and came along to the event, and one minute I'm talking to him, casually chatting to him, turn around the next minute there's like 50 people surrounding me, like wanting photos and taking pictures. So it's surreal for my friends seeing that, and I really enjoy meeting people because they're just normal, I'm just normal, and I think it's good for them to meet me and realise I'm not some sort of like superhuman or something, or some sort of weird person that lives on YouTube. Now, I'm fairly lucky. I think if you start to expose too much of yourself and give away you've got to be careful in terms of like what information you do give out, because just like a tiny little bit of information can lead on to somebody finding out lots of extra information. So I try and be careful, and luckily most of my fans are good and sort of realising that, you know, I'm just a normal person and I need my privacy as well.
John Bain, aka TotalBiscuit.
I make an effort, mostly due to my own failings more so than anything else, to try and keep my viewer base at arm's length and to make sure that the relationship between us is strictly the case of I am the content provider and they are the content consumer. A lot of it really is my own fault. I have difficulty disengaging from conversations, and I have difficulty ignoring negative feedback. The internet is a very unpleasant place. There are a lot of people that choose to use anonymity to try and lash out at somebody, to try and hurt them. You know, let's get into the deep end nice and quickly here. If you were to receive, say, a written letter that's a death threat, for instance, or a threat to your life, that's the kind of thing the police would investigate. There's a real consequence to somebody doing that. That's the kind of thing that can end up in your email box or via Twitter almost any day, just for no reason, and there's no consequence. It is a bit scary, for one thing, and most of us were really we just had no idea how to deal with it, and we had to learn and come up with our own ways to cope over the last few years. It's only now, really, that a lot of the more popular people are starting to get agents and management firms and PR guys to try and lessen that load.
This is BBC Radio 1, and you're listening to Rockstar Gamers. So far, we've met some of the most successful gamers and heard from industry experts on why YouTube content is so popular. Now, finally, it's time to explain how you could follow in their footsteps. From the people making a success of YouTubing, here's their advice on how you too could become a Rockstar gamer.
You have to remember to look before you leave.
Well, firstly, don't give up on education in order to do it.
YouTuber TotalBiscuit.
Don't approach YouTube as a career path. Approach it as something that you're passionate about. Approach it as something that is a hobby. While there are thousands of channels making money, there are millions of channels that simply don't, and probably never will. You will become popular, I feel, if the passion for your subject matter is genuine and it's well communicated.
President of Maker Studios, Rene Rechtman.
Don't copy what's out there. It's already, saturated. Try to come up with a new concept, a new phenomenon, a new format. What is it that you want to do that is different and that has a voice? I think that's the main thing. And then I think you need to be realistic like any other entrepreneur. Do you want to take the risk? Do you want to work 7 days a week, non-stop, right, to get successful? Because that's what it takes. And if you have all these elements, this is a unique opportunity in time to become something and live out your dream without anyone telling you not to.
With these cosmic bricks, the world will be mine to rule.
Mark Turpin, CEO of The Yogscast.
When you start out, you will make maybe 20 cents on your first month, if you're lucky. If it's something where you're thinking, this is a great way to make money, it's not. But if you think this is something I have a passion for and I just want to share that passion, then, go for it. There's nothing stopping you. Literally, to set up costs and way to go onto YouTube are minimal. You can at least start and give it a go.
YouTube's head of gaming, Rodrigo Velloso.
I see limitless potential. I think the most exciting part of it is that it's already such a big part of YouTube, but it continues to grow extremely fast. Once the kind of video capture barrier for mobile gaming has been overcome, you can expect that to be another source of proliferation of gaming content and gaming viewership. It really only depends on your ability to build an audience. And if you're able to do that, then we're able to get you paid.
YouTuber Ali A.
Live stream's a really good way also for people that are interested in starting and building up an audience. Twitch is a very good platform to start that because it's a very good way of building up dedicated fans that are interested in you and like your content. I think my first sort of 50 to 100 subscribers were all just people from forums. But if you can find like just even forums or places online where people have similar interests that would be interested in your content and help sort of push the boat out a little bit, then that's a great way of starting off that building process.
Yogscast member Martin Littlewood.
All it takes is one video to go big. And it's not even big to the extent of like you suddenly get 1 million subscribers overnight. For example, for me, I started off with 200 for probably like 4 or 5 months, and then I released a song, Lady Gaga parody, and I went to 20,000 in the space of 3 days. And then from there, it stayed relatively consistent. YouTube's so unpredictable. You never know what's going to be hit or miss with it.
Dan and Phil.
And here is the question of the ages. What are the top tips for anybody wanting to make it big on YouTube?
I'd say the first thing is make videos that you would want to watch yourself.
Yes, start with inspiration. What do you want to do creatively? Who are you? Why are you making videos? What are the videos you want to make? What are they like? Why?
And I think you don't need the best camera of all time, but it is important to have nice audio quality, just so it's not like a big muffly 7-minute long mess.
Absolutely, it's about content over production value.
Any other advice? Get a cat. Cats are
animals
good on
good.
The internet.
They're more important than cameras or being human.
Get a cat that can talk like a human, then that's a goldmine.
Then you don't really need yourself for the channel.
No.
Just do that.
Talking Cat TV.
Okay, I'm gonna go make that channel now. Bye, losers.